Just about set for our final pool play match of the day as number 1 Bob Jones getting set to take on number 4 Emmaus. Rick Cooper, the NCCA Sports Network. We welcome you back to Bob Jones University here in Greenville, South Carolina. These two teams have already punched their ticket to the national semifinals. Just trying to determine when they will play and who they will play. As we are underway, Bob Jones, the 1 seed on the near side of your screen, and Emmaus in the visiting royal blue, the 4 seed on the far side of your screen, and the first attack attempt of this match out of the hand of freshman Brooke Beaver, and the Bruins lead 1-0. I love when I do high school football games and they wear jerseys where you can't read the numbers. They're absolutely horrible. These are not horrible, but a little bit of a challenge for the Bruins in this dark gray on the near side, and Emmaus with their first point. They tie this opening set at 1 apiece. Obviously some players to keep an eye on for Emmaus. They feature the National Player of the Year, talking about Hannah Postma, second nationally with nearly 9 assists per set. Bob Jones with Rachel Williams, who leads the nation in assists at 9 a set. They also have a pretty good freshman outside hitter in number 5, Brooke Beaver. That was a difference maker yesterday, and Emmaus has taken a 2-1 lead. Emmaus, an at-large selection. They had knocked off Maranatha back on September 11th in straight sets at Maranatha. And at that point, it was a 5-set win, I beg your pardon. They knocked them off. They got the number 1 ranking for much of the season. And then Maranatha returned the favor with a win at Emmaus, beat them in the North Region Final in straight sets. And so because of that, they have dropped down to a number 4 spot here at this 2008 National Championship. Attack attempt there by the Eagles, handled by the Bruins. Savannah Peterson back there as the Emmaus libero. That's Catherine Ring in the middle, who had an outstanding day 1 of this championship. Overpass here, Williams to the middle, and Ring, her little dink attempt eventually drops in. They played it, but eventually let it drop. So Catherine Ring, again, very, very efficient in that middle hitter spot. Second team All-American. Ready to serve it here is Jordan Anderson for Bob Jones University. Of course, led by the Hall of Fame head coach, Dr. Vicki Denny. 62 years old, and there's Catherine Ring doing what Catherine Ring does best. We touched on it if you watched the first broadcast of the day with us. Gabby Carpenter from Maranatha reminds us an awful lot of Catherine Ring with their efficiency and their ability to change speeds. They can beat you with power, and they can beat you with finesse as well. Another point for Bob Jones. Referees for this one, the R1 on the ladder is Bob Nukowski, 42 years as an official. Diane Penner is your R2, 35 years. So 77 years between those two. Neil Pittman, the Emmaus head coach, 2018 National Coach of the Year. Ready again is Anderson. On serve receive is Peterson. Pushed over the net there by Allie Hertz, and too strong on that push attempt. Hertz playing at right side after being an outside hitter the first couple years of her career. She is number 1 all time in Emmaus history in attacks. Could it be a free ball here? Received up front by Gaston, and an attack on that left side never got there. Out of the hand of Courtney Bates. Substitution coming in for Emmaus is Paulina Velderain. Velderain, the young lady that took that outside hitter spot earlier in the year. Moved Allie Hertz to the right side, and that one going to be a point for the Bruins. It happened around mid-September. That Maranatha win was the first time that Velderain had hit on the outside. Averages 2.7 kills a set and a 22% attack percentage. Received by Emmaus, left side, an attack, and it's too strong. Out of the hand of number 11, and that is Paulina Velderain. And it is quickly 9-3. Number 1 leads number 4 here early. And an ace there out of the hand of number 10. That's Lauren Muckenschnabel. And Neil Pittman doesn't like the way this thing has started. He's going to call a timeout. Timeout on the floor. We're in the opening set. The Bruins, Bob Jones University 10, the number 1 seed. And Neil Pittman, a number 4, Emmaus 3. It's the 2018 NCCAA Division II Women's Volleyball Championship here on the NCCAA Sports Network. For over 90 years, Bob Jones University equipping leaders to make a difference for the cause of Christ. You can find out more by visiting bju.edu. Bob Jones University, learn, love, and lead. For over 50 years, the NCCAA providing outreach and ministry through athletic competition with a Christian perspective. You can find out more by visiting the NCCAA.org. Earlier today, Maranatha in 5 sets, able to knock off number 3, Geneva. So Maranatha, the number 1 team out of Pool B, will play in national semifinal number 2 tonight at 7:30. Number 3, Geneva, will take on the winner of this match at 5:30 local time in national semifinal number 1. Muckenschnabel into the middle, and a big swing up there from Emmaus. I think that was Paige Sweeney, and it was. Handled by the Bruins. Back row attack here that hung on the tape and scooped up by Rachel Williams. Another free ball, and this time Hannah Postma, the National Player of the Year, takes care of it. 10-4. Bruins by 6, and the side out to Paige Sweeney, the sophomore from Pembroke, North Carolina. 19 aces coming in, has appeared in all 90 sets for the Eagles. Received back row by Selena Walker. Little quick set to Catherine Ring that Emmaus able to handle, and Postma, an attack attempt of her own. Now Postma gonna set up a swing on that right corner by Lindra Davis that the Bruins able to handle. Valderrain scoops up a dig of her own, and now will swing down that line, and another dig by Muckenschnabel. And finally, a point out of the hand, I believe, who was that? Is that 18, Courtney Bates? And it was. Sophomore from Prairie Farm, Wisconsin. Only 3 players from Florida on this Bob Jones squad. Only 1 from South Carolina. They're from all over the country. We'll talk about that after this next stoppage. Beaver out of system. And that one too strong. Point for Emmaus. 3 from Florida, 1 from Wisconsin, 1 from Pennsylvania. Player from South Carolina, player from Iowa, Montana, Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. Vicki Denny getting them from all over the country. Hannah Postma into the middle. Trying to find Lindra Davis. That's set just a little bit off the mark. Beaver with an attack, and it's too strong. Brooke Beaver played outstanding yesterday. Without question, the most powerful hitter on this Bob Jones squad, and really was the big recruit that Vicki Denny had been looking for, and it's a service ace there. Out of the hand of Hannah Postma. Postma, the senior from Tomball, Texas. Got married in the offseason. Got married, I believe, last June. Hannah Bell became Hannah Postma, who became the National Player of the Year. In the middle, battle between Lindra Davis and Catherine Ring. Left side, attack attempt. Bounce back onto the Bob Jones side. Beaver gonna swing again. Tight to the net, and Ring made him pay on the overpass. When you watch that middle hitter battle between Lindra Davis and Catherine Ring, it's worth noting that Ring is 5'11", and Lindra Davis is 5'5". Davis can absolutely jump out of the gym. Neil Pittman had recruited a couple middles to come in and fill a void in that spot. Did not get any of the recruits he was going after in terms of middle hitters. Lindra Davis approached him and said, "Coach, give me a shot." And the athleticism that she has, her ability to jump, has allowed her to be a lot more effective than most players would be at 5 feet 5 inches tall. As Neil Pittman put it, she has produced amazing results. 1.3 kills per set. and has had some matchups against 5'11" Catherine Ring here early. Nice cut shot there and a point for the Bruins. Anderson back in. Catherine Ring will sit down. So Anderson, Beaver, and the setter, Rachel Williams, up front. Selena Walker, the libero from Bob Jones, in that back row with Muckenschnabel and Courtney Bates. And kind of an overpass there that Brooke Beaver takes advantage of. Emmaus had been on a little bit of a run there. But Bob Jones with a couple points. Back up by 3, 13-10. We're in the opening set. We play best of 5. First 4 to 25. If we get to a 5th and deciding set, we would play that one to 15. Ball hung on the tape. Both teams fighting to keep it alive. Pushed over by Beaver. Again tight to the net. And this time, the lack of size by Lindra Davis hurt her. Tried to take it over Jordan Anderson, and Anderson said, Solo block there by the 5'10" junior from San Antonio, Florida, not Texas. Ready is Selena Walker. Postma down the line to Valderrain, who got a touch up front and then dropped it in. (14-11), number 1 leads number 4. Left side, it's Brooke Beaver. And that's going to go down as a kill. Valderrain got a left paw on it, but couldn't do any more with it. This is Rachel Williams, who also got married in the offseason. Didn't think she was going to play volleyball this year. Made a decision at the last moment to come back for this, her senior year. And that cut shot by Emmaus is too strong. It was Nicole Gordon, one of their outside hitters, asking for a touch, but was not given that call. To the side out to the Bruins. Out of the hand again of Rachel Williams. Into the middle, Lindra Davis at 5'5". How do you do? (16-12), Bruins by 4. The serve there by Savannah Peterson, right side, Beaver, too strong. Well, I thought that one looked good from here, but the linesman right on top of it said, And it's now 16-13, yeah. Ready again is Peterson, received by Selena Walker. Rachel Williams down the line, feeding Anderson, who tried to test that block. Emmaus able to keep it alive. Into the middle, tried a quick set to Anderson that was a little bit off the mark. And an advantage here, Postma with a back row attack that hung on the tape and dropped on a play. So it's an attack here that now makes it 17-13. Bruins by 4 with the serve here. Ready is Brooke Beaver, the freshman, with an ace. Beaver, the freshman out of Kissimmee, Florida. First team All-American. And now 18-13, Neil Pittman going to use his second and final timeout here in this opening set, with number 1 leading number 4, 18-13. Brooke Beaver already with 5 kills in this opening set. Catherine Ring with 4 of them from that middle hitter spot. They account for 9 of Bob Jones' 10 kills in this opening set. On the Emmaus side, 5 different players with 1 kill, including Hannah Postma, the 2018 National Player of the Year. For over 90 years, Bob Jones University, equipping leaders to make a difference for the cause of Christ. You can find out more by visiting bju.edu. Bob Jones University, learn, love, and lead. National Championship action brought to you by Aramark, where we dream and we do. We say thanks to all of our national tournament sponsors, including Servant HR, Spinks, Aramark, Bon Secours, Integra Bank, and Pepsi. Final pool play match of this championship. On the other side, number 5 Johnson and number 8 Randall finishing up their pool play in Pool Play A. One of those 2 teams going to get their first win of this championship. Both teams will finish up their 2018 campaign with that match. Both of these teams on our end are headed to the national semifinals as they feed the middle, and Paige Sweeney with a little change of pace, and she drops it in. This is Allie Hertz. Hertz has 24 aces on the year. Serves it here to Selena Walker, the Bob Jones libero. Setting up Anderson. Anderson's first swing came right back at her. The second swing was out of play. Bob Jones by 3, 18-15. Opening set, best of 5. Emmaus on the far side of your screen in the royal blue. Bob Jones, the 1 seed in the gray uniforms on the near side of your screen. Into the middle, they feed Anderson. Dug up in that back row by Hertz and eventually drops in after some miscommunication and a play that wasn't easy anyway. Real tight to the net, and it drops for a Bob Jones point. Walker will sit down as Catherine Ring back in up front at that middle hitter spot. Ready here, waiting for the green light is Jordan Anderson. Anderson 2.3 kills a set, his second best on this team, and a back row attack there by Allie Hertz is absolutely perfect. Hertz grew up in Faith Baptist Bible College country out in Ankeny, Iowa. Somehow Neil Pittman got her away from Faith, got her to Emmaus. I think he's got a couple players like that where their hometown is near another Christian college. Really an active recruiter, not only going after players and people that make him aware of opportunities, uses a recruiting service that has yielded some big dividends as well. As players from all over the country, I'm looking at his roster: Texas, California, Florida, North Carolina, Arizona. Down the line, and an attack for Bob Jones. So 20-17, Gaston will sit down as they'll bring in Muckenschnabel. We told you the story on her yesterday. Dad was just by visiting with our statistician, but Muckenschnabel, somebody whose dad, Vicki Denny, taught in the classroom, taught gym to some 40 years ago. So when you coach for 35 years, you build relationships all over the country, and they yield dividends. Recruits like Lauren Muckenschnabel, who has been a key back row piece for this Bruins team, and an attack up front by Paige Sweeney. The joke that Vicki Denny said, though, she said, I knew how to pronounce her name because I had Dad in gym class 40 years ago, but it's a mouthful. Muckenschnabel out of Chicago, Illinois. One of her teammates just call her Muck. Back row received there by Muckenschnabel. Hustling to get there on pass 2 was Williams. An attack up front by Bates, controlled by Emmaus. Into the middle ring, took something off of it and dropped it in. She's very good at that. You will not see Catherine Ring swing at full power very often. Loves to take something off of it and beat you more with location. She's going to hit it hard. It's not going to always be rinky-dink finesse, but she's not going to beat you with full power. Wants to beat you by finding the gaps and grooves in your defense, and it's an attack there. I believe it was Valderrain up front, wasn't it? That's her second, well, 2 hits, I beg your pardon. So they wave off the attack attempt there by Valderrain and give the point to Bob Jones. Now we're ready to play. Courtney Bates with the serve here. Postma trying to set up Valderrain again, trying to take it over Catherine Ring, who punched it back onto the Emmaus side of the net. They go down the line to Beaver, who hits again. They sold Emmaus on Catherine Ring in the middle, and instead they went to the freshman Brooke Beaver down the line, and there was not much resistance because of the sell. Now 24-18, so this is set point for the Bruins here in the opening set. Received by Hertz. Postma had a hustle to get there. Valderrain with a cross-court attack, scooped up by Selena Walker, and Brooke Beaver took something off of it and dropped it in. And so Bob Jones University with an opening set win, 25-18. They were impressive. Pittman and Emmaus going to have to make some adjustments and do it quickly as they trail 1-0 in this best of 5. Number 1 team in this Pool A will play at 5:30 against number 3 Geneva. The loser will play number 2 Maranatha in the second semifinal tonight at 7:30. We'll take a break. Set number 2, number 1 Bob Jones, number 4 Emmaus is coming up next. This is the NCCAA Sports Network. So we switch sides and get ready for set number 2. Bob Jones, impressive in that set 1 win, 25-18. And Emmaus going to have to hit at a better clip than 7% if they think they're going to come in here and knock off Bob Jones on their home floor. 9 kills, 7 errors, 31 attempts for the Eagles in that first half. Bob Jones 20% as a team. It was a heavy dose of Brooke Beaver, 7 attacks in that first half, first set. She hit at a clip of 23%. She was a leading attacker for either team. Valderain, Sweeney, and Allie Hertz all had 2 kills apiece for Emmaus. In terms of any aces here, I'm looking at assists. 13 assists for Rachel Williams. 8 assists in that opening set for Hannah Postma, the National Player of the Year. Couple aces for Hannah Postma as well. And Muckenschnabel and Brooke Beaver had an ace for Bob Jones in that opening set. The Bruins have not been beat by a Division II team all season. They are 14-0. They have won 43 out of 48 sets, now 44 out of 49 sets. That's a 90% winning percentage, and they have rolled off 18 in a row. The last time they were beat was back in early October. It was a 5-set loss to Owens Community College on October the 5th. So they have been on quite a roll, and so has Emmaus, 25-4. Emmaus really gets out of the gate quickly. That's kind of their storyline. They won 16 in a row to start 2018 when they won 48 out of 50 sets and won 10 in a row last year. And they were 30-0 in sets in those 10 wins to start 2017. So they have been known to start quickly, and they have finished well this year as well. For Neil Pittman, as we said, received his first ever National Coach of the Year award. We congratulate him, and continues to take major strides with this program. And Vicki Denny has done that everywhere she's been. 62 years old, and now our linesman on a stoppage here. Going to talk to Bob Nukowski, our R1 on the ladder. But the statistic we shared yesterday in our coverage about Vicki Denny, that there's so many of them, we could sit here for 5 minutes and talk about it, but Vicki Denny now popped up as they're going to change the call, and she's asking for an explanation from Diane Penner, our R2, and now our court captain, Rachel Williams, talking to Bob Nukowski. There's conversations everywhere, and I don't think Vicki Denny happy right now with the decision, but Coach Denny, 35th season. She's got like 700 more wins than any other coach in this championship, but the statistic that blows you away more than any other, 35 years, 30.5 wins a season. She's not just had a 30-win year. She's had a 30-win year for 35 years. Absolutely incredible run for Vicki Denny. 14 times a national champion, 13 of those at Clearwater Christian, including 8 in a row from 2007 to 2013. Got her first ever national championship on the staff at Maranatha Baptist University. At that point, Maranatha Baptist Bible College back in 1987. Ready to play volleyball again. Testing the block there, I believe was Gaston. Got through it, and Emmaus going to have to put a free ball over the net that was handled on that other side by Bates. Punched over by Anderson, controlled by the Eagles. And Allie Hertz, a little push attack from that back row. Controlled here by Williams, out of system as the second pass coming from Walker instead of Williams. Down the line, and a cut shot there, broken up by Bob Jones. Left side, another swing, broken up again. Gonna go with a back set to Bates, and it never got there. So a couple attack attempts for not Brittany Annan, I beg your pardon. It's Nicole Gordon, the junior from Chico, Texas. Gordon has a sister on this team. Back row specialist Kendra Gordon. Into the middle, it's Gaston. They change tempo, and she's able to put one down. Here comes Catherine Ring. Selena Walker will get a breather momentarily, the BJU libero. 3-2 here early. Second set, Bob Jones a convincing win, 25-18 in set number 1. Gaston tried a line shot. It was deflected right back onto the Bruin side. Valderrain to Postma, little setter dump, scooped up by the Bob Jones setter, Rachel Williams, and that one punched into the back right corner by Laura Gaston. And it's now 4-2. If Bob Jones takes care of business as the number 1 seed, it would obviously set up a Bob Jones and Geneva matchup, which would be a whole lot of fun, number 1 and number 3. But it would also set up a 4th meeting of the year between number 2 Maranatha and number 4 Emmaus. Emmaus won the first meeting. Maranatha has won 2 in a row. Left side, cross-court attack there, scooped up by Allie Hertz. Postma gonna try to set up Gordon on that back row attack, and it was too strong. Substitutions, a couple of them in, including the libero for Emmaus, Savannah Peterson, who averages 3.9 digs per set and is converted on 36 aces as well. Postma, left side, it's Valderrain. Dug up back row by Muckenschnabel. Selena Walker punched over the net by Abby Plew, who has checked in. Plew has not played a lot of minutes, but she has seen action now in all 3 matches at this national tournament. Somebody who continues to really get better, especially late in the year. Vicki Denny said Plew has made some significant strides and would likely see some limited PT at the national tournament. And that one went out of play off Bob Jones, so the point to Emmaus. Received back row, an attempted receipt back there by Beaver. Went right through her hand, so an ace makes it now 6-4. A little float serve that hung on the tape from Postma and came back onto the Emmaus side for a service error. Extends the advantage to 7-5. This is Abby Plew, the 5'9" freshman from Anderson, Indiana. Jump serve received by Nicole Gordon, tight to the net, and it was a tough spot for 5'5" Lindra Davis. You put her up against the net, having to get it over on a third pass, and Catherine Ring right there to stuff it. 8-5 Bob Jones. 2 solo blocks for Catherine Ring in this second set, and a service error there. Gives the point to Emmaus. And the volleyball into the hands of number 11, Paulina Valderrain, the 5'9" freshman from Tucson, Arizona. Neil Pittman calls her the top new addition to this Emmaus team in 2018. And having some trouble with Savannah Peterson. It was an overpass that the Bruins able to hammer home. And it's now 9-6. Number 1 leads number 4. Both of these teams, as we've touched on, will find their way to the national semis. Just trying to determine seeding for that national semifinal action. The winner of this will play at 5:30 against number 3 Geneva. The loser will play number 2 Maranatha in the second semifinal at 7:30. Free ball over the net by Gordon. Up front, Williams going down the line to Beaver, who was late getting there and kind of had to just push it over the net. Williams going to go to Beaver again, this time with a little bit of power, scooped up in the back row by Emma Reibling, serving specialist who's checked in. Into the middle, Met at the net was Lindra Davis. Flat-footed attack by Postma. And Anderson said thank you very much and dropped it in. Those aren't going to work against that Bob Jones front line, whether it's Anderson, whether it's Ring, whether it's Gaston. I don't think you're going to be able to sit 4, 5, 6 feet behind that net and try flat-footed kills. Those are going to lead to solo blocks and a lot of trouble. 10-6, that's another solo block, this time from Anderson. So 3 of them in this second set for the Bruins. Left side, Beaver went to a left-handed dink and dropped it in. I think the antenna gave her a little bit of concern and changed her strategy and went to a left hand and put it in. And Neil Pittman senses things changing a little bit. The momentum shifting is called his first time out here in set number 2. It's a 4-0 Bob Jones University run that's allowed number 1 to open up a 5-point advantage over number 4 Emmaus. I want to thank all of our tournament sponsors, talking about Servant HR, Spinks, Aramark, Bon Secours, Integra Bank, and Pepsi. See what everyone's talking about at visit greenvillesc.com. From beautiful landscapes to a small town Main Street, it's no wonder people all across the world are visiting. You can check it out. Greenville, South Carolina. Visit greenvillesc.com to learn more. And again, we say thanks to Ben Bellerman, Dan Wood, Kelly Wood, and the entire NCCAA National Tournament staff for over 50 years. The NCCAA promoting outreach and ministry through athletic competition, all of it with a Christian perspective. You can find out all you need to know about the National Christian College Athletic Association, and you do that by visiting theNCCAA.org. So a danger spot right here for Emmaus. Trailing 11-6, and that one is in. So much needed. Stops the bleeding. Coming out of the Neil Pittman timeout, it's 11-7. Lindra Davis will sit down as Paige Sweeney coming back in to that middle hitter spot. Savannah Peterson, the Emmaus libero, with the serve. Anderson up front, met at the net by a pair of Eagles. Freeman, a back row attack to Postma. Down the line, Williams finding Beaver, and Peterson late getting there to try to scoop it up. It's now 12-7. Ready is the first-team All-American setter, Rachel Tubbs-Williams. Little quick set to Sweeney, and she was met at the net. It's an assisted block for Gaston and Anderson. 13-7. Ready again is Williams. Received in that back row by Peterson and/or Hertz. They came together to get it. And again, a little flat-footed attack, and I just don't think those are going to work when you're 6 or 8 feet, whatever it is, 4, 5, 6 feet behind that net, and you try a flat-footed attack against the size that Bob Jones a lot of times has up front, and I think you're going to have a lot of assisted or solo blocks, and again, big trouble. Nicole Gordon tried it just a moment ago, and it did not go well. 15-7. Unforced error there on that last series by Postma, trying to set up one of her teammates, but Emmaus comes right back and scores. So it's now 15-8. Emmaus Bible College, out of that north region, led by their 8th-year head coach Neil Pittman, has won 64% of his matches at Emmaus, 121-69. 2002 Emmaus grad. He's a full-time IT guy at Medline Industries. It's a medical supply company. Wife Beth of 13 years and 2 boys. Ian age 9, Liam age 7. Maybe they're watching this afternoon. That'll make my day to get to make a couple little boys smile back in Emmaus country. Ian at 9, Liam 7. What's up, fellas? Hanging out with Dad here at Emmaus at Bob Jones, trying to find their way to the national semis and to the national championship. But boys, they've got a pretty strong test in front of them, talking about Bob Jones University. Down the line, battling around the antenna, and she dropped it in. Well, that's a young lady there, Plu, that doesn't get to play a lot and really showed some outstanding athleticism. I thought for sure she was going to hit the antenna. Back row received by the libero Peterson. Into the middle, Sweeney, scooped up by Williams. Little give and go, and Selena Walker playing setter on that series. Back row attack by Allie Hertz. Into the middle, big swing, dug up back row by Hertz. Left side, Gordon, and it's an assisted block. It was Anderson and Gaston, and Neil Pittman going to call his second and final timeout here in set number 2. Bruins won set 1, 25-18. They lead set 2, 18-9. You're watching the 2018 NCCA Division II Women's Volleyball Championship from beautiful Bob Jones University here in Greenville, South Carolina, and you're watching it here on the NCCAA Sports Network. Have 2 semifinals for you tonight, 5:30 and 7:30. Winners of those 2 matches will advance to the national championship tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We'll have both of those matches for you tonight. We'll also count you down to first serve tomorrow, give you the starting lineups, kind of talk about how they got there, give you every nugget we've got tomorrow to count you down to that first serve in the national championship. And I know they'll do awards after tomorrow. They'll announce the all-tournament team, the national tournament MVP, and whether you're from Emmaus, Bob Jones, Maranatha, or Geneva, we'll have that for you and let you know who gets what, and watch all the important stuff tomorrow at 1 p.m. So I want to say thanks again to Bob Jones University, equipping leaders to make a difference for Jesus for more than 90 years. Find out more by visiting bju.edu. Bob Jones University, learn, love, and lead. They just celebrated their 90th year of existence. Bob Jones University have not always been here in Greenville, South Carolina, though. So they have celebrated, I think, 52 years. Off the top of my head, I'm going to look at my notes and try to make sure that's right. And it's going to be a Bob Jones point yet again. I need my cheat sheet for that one. Ready to serve is Brooke Beaver. Received by Hertz. Postma to the middle and Sweeney. Walker tried to dig it up but could not do it. Bob Jones University, 100 miles west of Charlotte, 150 miles northeast of Atlanta. It is their 92nd year of existence. And I think it says their 62nd year here in Greenville. First few years were in the panhandle of Florida, then went 30 years to Cleveland, Tennessee, where the current Lee University campus is. They just outgrew that facility back in the mid-1980s. Valderrain with an attack attempt that was blocked up front, and boy, that front line of Bob Jones has really had their way in this match against Emmaus. Yeah, 52nd year in Greenville, 92nd year overall for the Bruins here as a school, and it's now 22-11. And that one a little bit too strong out of the hand of Paige Sweeney. Service here now makes it 23-11. Sweeney will sit down as back in is Savannah Peterson, the Emmaus libero. If you're Neil Pittman here, you want to finish with something. Right now it has been all Bob Jones, and there's no signs that this thing is going any further than 3 sets as Valderrain goes through a block and connects. Now 23-12. Ready again is Hannah Postma. Not only the best assist man on this team, the best in terms of aces as well. Lindra Davis tried to go around Catherine Ring. Ring blocked it back onto the Emmaus side. Swing up coming here from Plew, and Plew kind of spun before she attacked on that one. It was not set up very well, and it leads to an attack error. And it's now 23-13. Lead is 10. Serve stays in the hands of Postma. It's going to go down as an ace. So Postma, as we said, their best server. Having some success right now. See back row by Walker, and Catherine Ring says, let's put a stop to that. There's the power of Catherine Ring that you don't always see. Now 24-14. This is set point out of the hand of Abby Plew. Valderrain to try to keep it alive. Cross-court attack handled by Walker. Beaver a touch up front. Punched over the net by Valderrain. Down the line, Beaver went to a left-handed dig. Scooped up by Valderrain. Right side, it's Hertz, and a dig on the Bob Jones side from Abby Plew. Back row attack there, flat-footed, of course, by the libero Walker. Battle up front between Hertz and Ring. Valderrain punches it over the front line. Scooped up by Plew. Beaver to try to win it. Valderrain to her knees to keep it alive for Emmaus. Back set, no, they go setter dump with Williams. Good effort by Valderrain, and that cross-court attack by Allie Hertz is too strong, but there was a touch. And so it's now 24-20. Vicki Denny was clapping. She thought the set was over. Our scoreboard says 25-14, but Bob Nukowski said there was a touch. And if so, it would now be 24-15. So 25-14 will change to 24-15. It has on the scoreboard in the gym. It will on your monitor as well. Down the line, Brooke Beaver to try to win it, and into a block of a couple Eagles. Up there was Lindra Davis and Allie Hertz. Postma down the line trying to set up Gordon, and that block attempt went out of bounds. So it is now 24-16. Ready here is Valderrain. High jump serve, and it's a service error that'll finish off the Eagles here in set number 2. 4 service errors in that second set for Emmaus. And Bob Jones University finishes them off 25-16. So Bob Jones 25-18 in the first, 25-16 in the second. He'll try to get out of here in straight sets and rest a little bit before the national semifinals later tonight. We'll have the third set, number 1 Bob Jones, number 4 Emmaus. The 2018 National Championships from Bob Jones University. Third set coming up next here on the NCCAA Sports Network. It'll be interesting what adjustments National Coach of the Year Neil Pittman able to make here before set number 3, because the reality is it has been all Bob Jones in this first 2 sets. 25-18, 25-16, and adjustments are going to have to be made, or in about 20 minutes, we're going to be signing off the air, and Bob Jones going to be the number 1 seed out of Pool A. There have been not many bright spots for Emmaus. They have really been manhandled near the net. That big front line with Gaston and Anderson and Ring, Emmaus just has not had an answer for. We knew they were undersized, but it's been that way all year. They managed to have that big win against Maranatha. They had the number 1 ranking in D2 for much of the second half of the season. So they have found a way to be undersized and still get it done. But this obviously is going to be a tough test to try to win 3 in a row. And maybe at this point 3 in a row isn't needed. But you better do something to kind of build some momentum. If this were to play out the way it is right now, it would set up, in fact, the 4th meeting between Bob Jones and Emmaus tonight at 5:30, and it would set up a nightcap between Bob Jones and Emmaus, or Bob Jones and Geneva. Thank you very much. So it's going to be a fun night of volleyball. Again, we'll have all of it for you here on the NCCAA Sports Network. And I'm going to say that dropped in. There's some question whether there was emergency contact there to keep it alive. And boy, Bob Jones off to a 4-0 lead here to start this third set. Ready again is Brooke Beaver, the freshman. It was an overpass that they'll get an opportunity on, deflected back onto the Bob Jones side of the net, and an attack into that back left corner by Nicole Gordon, junior from Chico, Texas. She has not had very many attacks today. Number 4, Gordon, 2 attacks in this match. For the junior from Chico, California. Twin sister Kendra, a back row specialist on this team. Couple in a row for the Eagles and a chance to get even closer here out of the hand of Allie Hertz. Selena Walker out of the left side, a little cross-court shot. Are they going to say it was in? No, but there was a touch. So the attack counts for Nicole Gordon. And Emmaus with 3 in a row, now trailing 4-3. We're in set number 3. Bruins have won the first 2 sets, 25-18, 25-16. Good effort there by Anderson, the big fella, working her way around the antenna. Sliding over was Gaston on that front right position. Handled back row by Emmaus. And one of their back row specialists, Emma Reibling, and that attack attempt is too strong, and Emmaus right back into this. Bob Jones with a 4-0 run, and the Eagles answer with 4 of their own. Ready is Allie Hertz, and that one a service error that makes it 5-4. And the side out to Bob Jones University. You're looking at Jordan Anderson, junior from San Antonio, that Vicki Denny said really has been the surprise this year. Has stepped in and been a force to be reckoned with, and somebody that maybe Denny didn't expect to contribute the way she did. Has played so well that it's allowed her to assume one of those middle hitter spots and allowed Laura Gaston to move over from middle to that right side, which is what she's better suited for, according to the 62-year-old head coach. And a block up front. I think it was Gaston and Ring that challenged her at the net. And it's an assisted block and a point for Bob Jones. Jordan Anderson, one of 3 juniors on this Bruin squad. Only 1 senior, their setter Rachel Williams, so they bring back plenty of firepower next year. Cross-court attack there by Gaston. Handled by Emmaus, trying to go into a block was Gordon. Stuffed back onto the Emmaus side, now a flat-footed attack by Bates. Tight to the net, left over, put over the net, left-handed by Catherine Ring. Gordon, a little cut shot, and she put it in. So Nicole Gordon has come alive a little bit in this third set. It's her 3rd kill already. Valderrain back in, back row specialist and serve specialist. Emma Reibling sits down. Selena Walker, that may not work tonight against Paige Sweeney, who was right there to smack it home. 7-6. Bob Jones by only 1. And a service error there by Nicole Gordon makes it now 8-6. This is Lauren Muckenschnabel. The sophomore from Chicago. Valderrain around the antenna, took it at Ring and Williams, and she passed the test, went right through him. Block attempt fails. It's an attack for Valderrain, and the Bob Jones lead is down to 1. Ready here is Paige Sweeney, a middle hitter. Bates with an attack from that front left position. Flat-footed in the back row was Sweeney. Down the line, an attack here by Bates. Dug up back row by Emmaus. Valderrain with a line shot and a nice dig by Muckenschnabel. Punched over the net by Bates, and not only punched over the net, she placed it absolutely perfect. It's Courtney Bates. That makes it now 9-7. Bates will now go back to the service line 5'10" sophomore. The lone player from the state of Wisconsin on this Bruin squad. And a solo block there. That's a tough matchup for Linda Davis. She's fearless. She jumps out of the gym, but it's one of those things, no matter how fearless you are, no matter how high you jump, 5'11" typically is going to beat 5'5", one-on-one at that middle hitter spot. So 10-7, Bruins by 3. Hannah Postma down the line. Valderrain. Ring got a piece of that one as well. Valderrain punched it over the net, but could not keep it in play. So it's now 11-7. Ready here is Courtney Bates. Received back row by Savannah Peterson. Down the line again to Valderrain, and it's another block. It was Ring and Williams. Well, these big setters cause lots of problems. We saw it with the Geneva setter. Now you're taking a look at Rachel Williams at 5'11". You're talking about Hannah Postma at 5'10". Can be so much more versatile, valuable, and dangerous when you've got a setter with some size like those three teams do. Let's not forget about Maranatha, too. Kelsey and Carly Johnson, pretty big. What are they listed? I think at 5'9". Sturdy girls, though. And that one too strong out of the hand of Hannah Postma. So 13-8, Bob Jones University by 5. Selena Walker, the libero, out of Pine Grove, Pennsylvania. Emergency contact there by Postman. It's a free ball over the net by Davis. They showed Anderson, Brooke Beaver, a little bit late getting there, and it eventually translates to a point. Rachel Williams wanted to show Anderson in the middle and feed Beaver on that outside, and Brooke couldn't get there to swing overhand, had to kind of just lift it over the net, and eventually Emmaus the point, and Valderrain gives it back on the service error. Third service error of this set for Emmaus. Valderrain will sit down as Emma Reibling will check back in. Williams, left side, it's Beaver. Went to a left-handed dink, handled by Emmaus. Swing up coming from Allie Hertz, controlled by Walker and Bob Jones, and then an attack air up front by Laura Gaston. Will give the point to the Eagles. Emmaus Bible College, 25-4. School of only 250. At-large selection out of Dubuque, Iowa. Dubuque, Iowa City lies at the junction of 3 states, Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin. Population of 60,000 makes it the 9th largest city in the state of Iowa. Neil Pittman jokes, he said, Rick, it's one of the few cities in Iowa that actually has hills. USA Today ranked Dubuque the 12th best small college town in America. Selena Walker punched it over, and it was too strong. Good decision by Reibling to let it go. We told you where Greenville, South Carolina is. Dubuque, Iowa, about 3 hours north of Des Moines, an hour and a half north of Iowa City, and an hour and a half south of Madison, Wisconsin. Has 5 higher institutions in Dubuque, Iowa. 5 colleges that call Dubuque, Iowa home. And they play 4 sports at Emmaus: men's and women's basketball, men's soccer, and women's volleyball. 14-13, got a good one going here in the third set, and now make it 15-13 after the service error by the libero Savannah Peterson. Serve up coming here from Brooke Beaver, freshman from Kissimmee, Florida. Another one of those players that grew up right next to a D2 college. Talking about Johnson University out of Florida, but still found her way up here to Bob Jones University in Greenville. Bruins trying to win a national championship without their best outside hitter from a year ago. Talking about Aaron Jarvis, the junior from Tarpon Springs, Florida, that averaged 2.1 kills a set last year. Tore her ACL in the offseason, worked like crazy to get back to playing, was playing with this team early in 2018 when in the 8th match of the year she tore the ACL in the other knee and was done for the year. So down the line there was Laura Gaston with an attack that was touched. And it's now 16-14. Ready again is Jordan Anderson. Anderson with 29 aces on the year, which is 5th best on this team. And Neil Pittman going to call his first time out here in set number 3. Want to say thanks to all of our national championship sponsors that help us bring you this national championship. Servant HR, Spinks, Aramark, Bon Secours, Integra Bank, and Pepsi. We also thank Neil Ring, Dr. Stephen Pettit, and the rest of the folks here at Bob Jones University, equipping leaders to make a difference for the cause of Christ. You can find out more by visiting bju.edu. Bob Jones University, learn, love, and lead. Winner of this match will have to come back again at 5:30, so I don't want to act like that's that hard, but this match could go another 45 minutes. Get done at 2:30, grab a bite to eat, and you're immediately thinking about coming back. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of time by the time you finish up. You want to get some food, you want to get them off their feet, but I guess on the flip side, that 10 a.m. match went till about noon. Now they're going to sit around for 7.5 hours. I don't know what's better. I never played a sport where you played 2 matches in the same day. I played sports that you played once and you were done. So actually coached a middle school basketball team this past season where they had some scheduling issues and they forced us to play 2 games in the same day. Coach Cooper was not happy. I had like 7 guys in my rotation. We're trying to shock the world, fighting like heck, and they say, yeah, congrats on that first win. Now you got to come back in about an hour and a half and do it again. And an ace here by Bob Jones. You don't care about my middle school basketball stories, but that should not happen with the Pumpkin. It does happen with the Tachikara. Ready is Jordan Anderson. Received by Emmaus, tight to the net. Postma up high was Sweeney. Still controlled by Bob Jones. Gaston went to some finesse, took it over the head of Sweeney, and put it right in front of Hertz and Peterson in that back row. Now 20-14. Bruins beginning to pull away. Ready is Anderson. Postma had to hurry. Hertz a back row attack. Dumped it in front of or behind Ring, and Ring's attack in the middle is wide. Wide right from this vantage point. And it's now 20-15. Received by Brooke Beaver. Courtney Bates tested the block and she passed the test. Took it right at Sweeney and Postma, who could not keep it in play. Muckenschnabel in. Gaston will sit down. Muckenschnabel, 33 aces here in 2018. 4th best on the team. Postma down the line. Valderrain brought some power, but could not keep it in play. And so it is now 22-15. Bruins 3 points away from a straight set sweep. Received here by Hertz. Postma to Valderrain, a touch up front. And a dig in the back row by Muckenschnabel. Dig on the other side by Hertz. Back set, no, set or dump. Handled well by Savannah Peterson. Free ball over the net. I guess it was an attack attempt still, but controlled there by Valderrain. Postma, set or dump. Good emergency contact there by Beaver, and it's an overpass that Hannah Postma able to put down. And it's now 22-16. Peterson will sit down Lindra Davis, the middle hitter, back up front. So Postma, Valderrain, and Davis up there on that front side. Ring went to a slide attack, a piece up front, but it dropped in anyway, and it's now 23-16. Peterson right back in as the libero, as Paige Sweeney will sit down for Emmaus. 2 points away from a number one out of Pool A, an undefeated run in Pool A for the Bruins, and that one is too strong by Valderrain, and this is match point. Bruins went 2-1 in pool play last year. They went 0-3 in their first year of intercollegiate volleyball 2 years ago. This would allow them to go 0-3 and be Pool A champs, and they did. So Bob Jones University wasting no time at all. They win in straight sets over number 4 Emmaus. We'll take a timeout. We'll wrap it up after this here on the NCCAA Sports Network. Well, Bob Jones University is the number 1 overall seed in this championship, does what a number 1 overall seed, I guess, is supposed to do. Well, they are still young. Vicki Denny talks about it a lot. She says, I got to remind people, this is our 3rd year of intercollegiate volleyball. This is not something we've been doing for 20 years. We told you how young this team is. Only 1 senior on this team, only 3 juniors, so very inexperienced. She touched on the fact this year they've only played 4 5-set matches. So you combine that inexperience with not a lot of battle tests this year. They've kind of gone in, and some matches she thought would go 5 sets, they've taken care of in 3. And all those things said that there was some question marks with this team despite being 31-5 coming in. And boy, some of those question marks have already been answered before we even get to the national semifinals tonight, as the Bruins a winner in straight sets here over number 4 Emmaus. They do it in impressive fashion, 25-18, 25-16, and 25-16. So the Bruins finish Pool A at 3-0. They finished off Randall in straight sets yesterday in their first match of the day, and then they won 3 out of 4 sets against Johnson University. So they are 9-1 in sets in Pool A play. They get 3 wins here. They improved to 34-5 on the year. That win streak continues, now 18-0, and they are a perfect 15-0 against Division II schools. Just a couple stats to throw at you that really tell the tale of the tape. They held Emmaus to only 10% hitting today. The Bruins a little bit better, 17%. Maybe the stat that jumped out to us was Catherine Ring, who finished with 8 kills and 5 blocks. 3 of them were solo blocks. I think that was the storyline. Bob Jones' front line really dominated the Emmaus front line. There just wasn't much to be had by that Emmaus front line up front. Every time they tried to swing, there was an Anderson, a Gaston, or a Williams contesting just about everything they did. So a big day for Catherine Ring in a losing effort for Emmaus. Now you look at some of their numbers. Nicole Gordon ended up with 7 kills. She ended up being a factor late. 9 kills for Paige Sweeney in this. And again, the hitting percentage, though, not good. Only 10% as a team. In terms of assists in this match, 21 of them for Hannah Postma and 26 of them for Rachel Williams. Both of those are first-team All-Americans. Of course, Postma, the 2018 National Player of the Year. We are set for tonight. National semifinal number 1. It'll be Bob Jones, the 1 seed, against number 3 Geneva. Number 1 out of Pool A against number 2 out of Pool B at 5:30. And our second semifinal tonight, number 2 Maranatha, the champions of Pool B, will take on Emmaus Bible for the 4th time this year. Maranatha won 2 out of 3, including the North Region Championship just 12 or 13 days ago. They'll take on Emmaus for a 4th time tonight at 7:30. So we will talk to you then. The winners of those 2 semifinals will advance to tomorrow's national championship. Used to be at 4:30. They have moved that up to 1 o'clock tomorrow. We'll get on the air a little bit early, give you the starting lineups tonight, tomorrow, and count you down to first serve from here at Bob Jones University. I want to thank all of our sponsors, including our title sponsor, Aramark. We say thanks to both of these head coaches, talking about Neil Pittman and Vicky Denny, as good as they get. We say thanks to the folks that helped us run it today, David Lurdy, Jeff Carr, Dan Boone. We thank our on-site statistician, Mr. Kent Delozier, and our good friend Faith Hunter, who has run a camera all day for us once again as well. Great work, Faith. We thank you most of all for watching. The Bruins win again. Their win streak continues. They have now won 18 in a row. They go to 34-5 on the year. Emmaus with the loss drops to 25-5. We'll talk to you later tonight. 5:30 national semifinal number 1, 7:30 national semifinal number 2. For our entire NCCAA Sports Network broadcast team, my name is Rick Cooper, saying so long for now from Bob Jones University. Have a good night, everybody.